King Korn presents the King Korn Annual Boxing Awards.
King Korn, in association with Boxing World, presents the King Korn Annual Boxing Awards.
Welcome on this very warm night to the 12th Annual Awards Night presented by King Korn and Boxing World magazine. Once again, a very special and very auspicious occasion. This occasion has become, without a doubt, one of the highlights, if not the highlight, of social events on the South African sporting calendar. And once again, it's a great opportunity to have so many people of such importance in the boxing world and along with the King Korn folk with us here tonight. Calling on Mr. Willem Reinecker, the Managing Director of King Food Corporation, to welcome you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Boxing World magazine and King Food Corporation, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this, the 15th Annual Boxing Awards banquet and the 13th to be sponsored by King Korn. I think you will agree that this function has now become the highlight on the South African boxing calendar, and hopefully tonight's presentations will be bigger and better and give you even more pleasure and enjoyment than any of those that you have attended in the past. In many respects, the South African boxing has reached the crossroads, and although we now have 3 world champions in Brian Mitchell, Welcome Kita and Dingaan Tobela, we believe the sport still needs every bit of support that it can get. It is for this reason that King Food has again decided to renew its boxing license, its promoter's license, and that we will now be staging tournaments on a national basis again.
When Dick de Villiers died a few years ago, it was one of the real shocks in boxing. But his memory lives on in the award that is made every year in his name. To tell you more about this, I call upon the chairman of the King Korn Food Corporation, Mr. Farrell Cohen.
King Korn's contribution to the sport of boxing has taken many forms, from the sponsorship and promotion of tournaments to the sponsorship of individual boxers and the support of projects like that of the fighters. The success of the book and subsequently the television series has given us a great deal of satisfaction. And when it was decided to reciprocate by giving the men behind the scenes the recognition they so richly deserve, it was done with a feeling of some emotion. To find out who those gentlemen are and why they are being honored, let's Let's take a look at this video.
The first category of these prestigious awards is the Dick de Villiers Award. Several years ago, Chris Gravenstein produced a video for King Korn Awards called Dream of the Century. In many ways, it was this 30-minute production that served as a feed for the TV version of The Fighters. It was based on Gravenstein's monumental history of South African boxing. Moreover, it was the late Dick de Villiers who was largely instrumental in initiating the negotiations with SABC that finally resulted in the launch of the 18-part series. So what could be more appropriate for Chris Gravenstein and the movie world team of Dion Potgieter, Paul Raleigh, and Tim Smythe than this award?
South African media provides us with an excellent record of what happens in boxing. As sponsors of this annual prestigious event, we believe that the valuable part played by the media is important, and the writers, the broadcasters, commentators, and photographers. We thank you all for the special task that you perform for boxing in this country. Let's have a look at the screens.
Television is a powerful medium, but seldom has it been better used for boxing than in the SABC top sport program, World of Boxing. Producer Chris Moolman and presenters Bert Blewett and Dion LaRue have addressed a wide range of issues, profiled a number of boxers, and often taken the viewer behind the scenes, both here and abroad since the program was launched.
You're a former world champion. You've been sparring with Nico Kamara.
World of Boxing has given the sport not only a voice, but a face, and clearly South African boxing has never been better served.
Yesterday, I was just a kid with a pair of gloves that were too big. Today, I'm a champion. I've changed. I'm faster, more sure of myself. But I haven't forgotten my roots. I'm proud of my traditions. I believe one must have the best of the old with the best of the new. That's why one thing will always be part of my life. King Korn.
Ladies and gentlemen, meritorious awards. Tonight, we have chosen a matchmaker, a timekeeper, and a trainer. Three totally diverse roles, yet each in its own right absolutely essential to boxing in general. But we have not chosen just anyone. No, this year's meritorious awards go to three men who have performed their duties with absolute distinction. And I'd ask that let us see who these men are.
Meritorious Award. Each year, the organizers of this event strive to give recognition to boxing men who, because they work largely behind the scenes, are not always fully appreciated. Ruben Rosadi has been assistant matchmaker for Square Ring Golden Gloves since February 1978. A boxer himself during his school days in Petersburg, Rosadi first became involved with the Panama Flash Amateur Boxing Club before becoming a matchmaker for VIP Promotions in 1971. It is as an assistant matchmaker for Square Ring Golden Gloves that he has really made a name for himself.
Brown Lugotsky has been striking gongs for more than 30 years and is arguably South Africa's longest-serving timekeeper. The first international fight in which he officiated was between Levy Malley and Don Johnson of the United States in 1963. Since then, he has timed thousands upon thousands of rounds from world title fights to modest talent tournaments.
Louisa Mcha has always claimed that boxing is his way of life, and few have given more to the sport than the former South African junior middleweight champion. The former border amateur champ turned pro in 1974 and won his first fight while still at Fort Hare University. Later, when he retired from the ring, he turned to training fighters himself, and today has become a respected spokesman for the sport he loves.
You remember, in 1986, Welcome Nita was named Prospect of the Year. Today, Welcome Nita is the IBF featherweight champion. In 1987, Dingaan Tobela was named Prospect of the Year. Today, Dingaan Tobela is the WBO. What's the title again? Lightweight champion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all these boxers, these promising pugilists, have been caught on video by our cameras, and these pugilists you can see on our screens here tonight, and please judge for yourselves.
Prospect of the Year. 4 unbeaten young men have been nominated for this award. Transvaal heavyweight Corey Sanders has boxed both at home and abroad, and many believe that he will become the next heavyweight champion of South Africa now that Pierre Coetzee has relinquished the title.
Transvaal lightweight champion Jan Bergman is an admirer of Sugar Ray Leonard, and the American influence is there for all to see in his style. Boom, bang, bash is Bergman's call.
Transvaal welterweight Henry Johnson was an outstanding amateur who has at last grabbed the attention of the pros. Boxing is the name of his game, and winning is his goal.
Cape welterweight Gary Murray has the potential to take us all on another roller coaster ride, the way Charlie Weir did back in the 70s. And that promise alone is enough to make South Africans sit up and take notice of this Scottish-born southpaw.
Each of the prospects will be garlanded with a medal before the winner is announced.
I'd just like to say it's a great honour to be here amongst so many champions. Just to be here was good enough for me. Winning means quite a lot to me as well, so this is even better. I'd like to thank everyone here, King Korn, my mother and father especially. I know they find me difficult to live with sometimes, but I thank them anyway. I'd like to thank my 2 trainers, Jackie and Basil Bryce.
And you know, we nominated 3 fights of the year, and all 3 that have been nominated, I believe they had all this ingredient: anticipation, drama, and excitement. Now, we're going to show you a video just now, but I'm going to run through the 3 fights that we've nominated.
3 great fights have been nominated for this award. If you love heavyweights, and who doesn't like the big fellows, the chances are your vote will go to the brawl for the bragging rights of South African boxing between Pierre Coetzee and Johnny Deploy at Sun City.
Good fight, drops Coetzee. Coetzee gets up straight away. Real hard there, he rode down, got up, went straight up, and fit to carry on. Straight into Johnny Deploy. And right hand from says to play back. What a tremendous battle this is turning into. Another punch there from
right
Johnny.
hand, a fantastic battle. Pierre Kutz is hurt again by that straight right from the floor. He's using nice snappy right hands there. And they're all on target. Pierre Kutz has got to work his way into this one. Oh, Johnny the floor is down. Tremendous left hook there and he's down. He seems to be writhing in pain there. It's almost over. Almost over. The Stankus Dulu's on the count of 6. He's just made a count.
He's wobbling. And referee Christodoulou's let it go on. That was a tremendous attack. And down it goes. Good play. Oh, he won, Mike.
But just to prove that the little guys can also provide drama and excitement, featherweights Jackie Gungaluza and November Nchingile were featured in a torrid tussle in East London that had the fans sitting on the edge of their seats.
Our third nomination was a grudge fight in every sense of the word. And once again, Sugarboy Malinga and Saki Horn did not disappoint when they fought their hearts out for the 4th time in a punch-packed bout at Nazareth.
It's got a very awkward style, and I think these two will have close fights every time they fight.
You know, it's a funny thing that the small ring, Malinga suddenly realized, I think, that he can't use that awkward jab behind the shoulder. It's not working in a small ring like this. And Horn the same. Can't run.
That's right. You can see here in the second round then that there's no love lost between these two fighters. Well, then, you know, the first minute of this round belonged to Malinga, but now Horn's taking over. Some nice crisp punches.
Horn moving in better. He's dropping himself into that short half uppercut into the body. And I think that's having a telling effect on Malinga.
Malinga, if I might say, is looking tired there in the second round. He's probably trying to break through into a second win, but he is looking rather tired there in the second round.
I think those body blows.
Yesterday, I was just a kid with a pair of gloves that were too big. Today, I'm a champion. I've changed. I'm faster, more sure of myself. But I haven't forgotten my roots. I'm proud of my traditions. I believe one must have the best of the old with the best of the new. That's why one thing will always be part of my life. King Korn.
It is my unique honor tonight to present this special award to one of South Africa's greatest sportsmen, a man whose achievements have carved for him a very special niche in our sports history. Ladies and gentlemen, this special award, as you know, goes to Brian Mitchell.
And tonight's two nominees appear to fit that bill almost perfectly, because both men have made valuable contributions to the game this year of 1990. Let's have a look at the video screen.
Man of the Year. Both nominees for this award are manager trainers. Both have been responsible for guiding a local boxer to a world title. And both are highly respected and greatly admired.
Mzimazi Nguni is the man behind the success story of Welcome Mtita. In many ways, he is Border's Mr. Boxing, having managed and trained a whole string of provincial and national champions. He has also travelled extensively overseas and rubbed shoulders with many of the greats of the game.
Nolan Slavani has trained Dingaan Kobela from the time that the teenager first decided to take the sport of boxing seriously. He was there when Dingaan began boxing as an amateur. He was there when Kobela turned professional. And he was there on the night the Rose of Soweto became the lightweight champion of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, the King Korn 1990 Man of the Year, Mr. Inzamazi Nguni.
Just to refresh your memories, let's have a look at the video featuring the three men that were nominated for this prestigious King Korn Award.
Boxer of the Year. Never before have three world champions been nominated for the Boxer of the Year award, making this an historic occasion, and the choice of the winner very difficult.
World Junior Lightweight Champion Brian Mitchell has won the award 3 times in the past. Mitchell is accustomed to rewriting the record books. Not only has he been WBA champion since 1986, he equaled a 61-year-old record by successfully defending his title for the 11th time in 1990.
The world champion took single round to get his rhythm and reign. Once the South African got past the opponent's long hair.
World lightweight champion Dingaan Kobela is also a previous winner of this award. When he beat Mauricio Aceves to win the WBO title in Texas, Kobela justified the confidence of the South African media, who voted him Prospect of the Year for 1987.
World Junior Featherweight Champion Welcome Nkita is also a previous award winner, having been voted the Prospect of the Year for 1986. Like his fellow countrymen, Mitchell and Kobela, Nkita made history in 1990 by becoming the first boxer ever to win a world boxing title in Israel.
This tribute to our boxers is brought to you by the heavyweight behind South African boxing, King Korn, giving you the best of the old with the best of the new.